The stars looked peaceful through the observation window of the Harmony's light. Captain Thilvek stood in the control room, his crystalline body reflecting the soft blue lights of the instruments. Behind him, 50,000 Velrian civilians slept in their pods, dreaming of their new home. They had traveled for 6 months, running from a dying world, hoping to find safety in the outer colonies. Thilvex was tired. The journey had been long and full of worry. His people were not warriors. They had evolved on a gentle moon with low gravity and thin air. Their bodies were beautiful but fragile like living glass. A strong impact could shatter them. They had no weapons worth mentioning, only shields meant to stop small asteroids. The alarm started screaming. Thilvex spun around, his movements creating small rainbow patterns in the light. His second officer, Velnik, was already at the sensor station, her hands shaking. Captain, multiple ships coming out of faster-than-light travel. They're Crothan. The word made Thilvex's body go cold. Everyone in the galaxy knew about the Crothans. They were pirates, slavers, and killers. They attacked weak ships, took what they wanted, and sold survivors to the worst places in known space. They were strong, cruel, and they never showed mercy. Raise shields, Thilvex ordered, trying to keep his voice steady. Send a message. Tell them we have nothing of value. But even as he spoke, he knew it was useless. The Velrians themselves were the value. Fragile beings made perfect slaves for delicate work. And the children aboard would fetch high prices. 15 Crothan warships surrounded them like predators circling prey. They were massive, covered in weapons and armor. The lead ship sent a message. The voice was rough and full of amusement. Velrian ship, shut down your engines. Prepare to be boarded. Resist and we will tear your ship apart with everyone inside. Thilvex looked at his crew. They were all terrified. He thought of the children sleeping below. He thought of the families who had trusted him to lead them to safety. Send out a distress call, he said quietly. All frequencies. Emergency channels, everything. Velnik hesitated. Captain, no one will reach us in time. We're too far from any major systems. Send it anyway. The Crothan ships opened fire. The first blast hit their shields, making the whole ship shake. Alarms rang everywhere. Thilvex grabbed the communications panel himself. This is Captain Thilvex of the Velrian colony ship Harmony's Light. We are under attack by Crothan raiders. We have 50,000 civilians aboard, including 15,000 children. We have no weapons. We have no defenses. Please, if anyone can hear this message, we need help. We are defenseless. Our children are aboard. Please, anyone who can hear this, help us. Another blast hit the shields. The lights flickered. Thilvex could hear the shield generators screaming as they tried to hold. They would last maybe 5 more minutes. Far away, across 200 light-years of empty space, the message reached the UES Indomitable. Admiral Hyunwoo was in his ready room, reviewing supply reports when the communication came through. His tactical officer, Lieutenant Nari, burst through the door without knocking. Sir, we have an emergency distress call. Civilian ship under attack. Hyunwoo stood up immediately. He was tall for a human, with short black hair starting to show gray at the temples. His face was hard, marked by years of command and battle. Show me. They ran to the bridge together. The crew was already at their stations, moving with quick efficiency. Hyunwoo listened to the message, heard the fear in the alien captain's voice, heard the explosions in the background. Distance? He asked. 3 hours at combat speed, Nari replied. She pulled up the tactical display. Sir, sensors show 15 enemy ships, capital-class vessels. We have 8 ships in our fleet. We're outnumbered. Hyunwoo studied the display for exactly 2 seconds. All ships, battle stations. Maximum combat speed. We have civilians under attack. Sir, Nari said carefully. We are outnumbered nearly 2 to 1. Hyunwoo looked at her. His eyes were cold and hard. Then they should have picked a fair fight. Communications. Send a message to that Velrian ship. Tell them help is coming. Tell them to hold on. The bridge crew moved fast. The Indomitable was a warship, designed and built by humans for one purpose: war. Around it, 7 other human vessels formed up in attack formation. The engines roared to life, bending space itself as they accelerated to speeds that most alien species thought impossible. On board the human ships, thousands of crew members rushed to their positions. Weapons were charged. Shields came online. Pilots climbed into fighter craft. Marines checked their armor and weapons. Every person knew what was happening. Somewhere out in the dark, people needed help, and the human fleet was going to make sure they got it. Captain Ji-hoon commanded the heavy cruiser Tenacious. He sat in his command chair watching his crew prepare for battle. His weapons officer, Yuna, was running diagnostics on the railguns. His navigator, Tejan, was plotting attack vectors. "Captain," Yuna said, "all weapons ready. Railguns charged. Missiles loaded. Plasma cannons at full power." "Good," Jihun replied. "Remember, these aren't soldiers we're fighting. They're pirates. Bullies who pick on the weak. Let's remind them what happens when they meet someone who can fight back." Back on the Harmony's light, the shields finally failed. The Crothan ships moved in close, preparing to board. Thilvex held onto his command chair as explosions rocked the ship. He could hear his people screaming below. Then Velnik gasped, "Captain! New contacts!" 8 ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Thilvex looked at the display. 8 new ships had appeared, and they were moving fast. Very fast. They were heading straight for the Crothan fleet. "Who are they?" he asked. Velnik checked her instruments, her hands moving quickly across the controls. "The identification says, humans. I've never heard of them. They're not in our database." A new voice came over the communications channel. It was calm, professional, and completely confident. "Velrian vessel Harmony's Light, this is Admiral Hyunwoo of the United Earthship Indomitable. We received your distress call. Hold your position. We're here to help." Thilvex felt hope for the first time since the attack began. "Thank you." "Thank you. But please be careful, there are 15 enemy ships and they're very dangerous." The human's response was simple. "We know, stay inside your ship. This will be over soon." On the Crothan command ship, Warlord Gruthnak laughed when he saw the approaching fleet. He pulled up information about these humans and found almost nothing. "Some new species playing hero," he said to his officers. "Split the fleet. Half continue boarding the Velrians. The rest go teach these fools what happens when they interfere with us." 7 Crothan warships turned to face the approaching human fleet. They activated their shields and charged their weapons. They had fought hundreds of battles. They had destroyed countless ships. They were confident and experienced. They had no idea what was about to hit them. The human fleet came in fast and hard. They didn't slow down. They didn't send warnings. They didn't follow any of the normal rules of galactic warfare. They just attacked. The first shots came from ranges that seemed impossible. In normal space combat, ships fought close together where shields and weapons worked best. But the humans opened fire from thousands of kilometers away. The railguns fired first. These weren't energy weapons like most species used. They were simple, brutal physics. Solid metal slugs, each one weighing several tons, accelerated to impossible speeds. They moved so fast that when they hit something, the impact released as much energy as a small nuclear bomb. The Crothan shields were designed to stop lasers and plasma. They had never been built to stop solid objects moving at a significant fraction of light speed. The first railgun slug hit a Crothan destroyer dead center. The shield flickered for a microsecond, trying to process what was happening. Then the slug punched through like the shield wasn't even there. It tore through the ship from front to back, the impact so violent that the destroyer simply exploded. Metal, plasma, and atmosphere erupted into space. 2 seconds later, 2 more Crothan ships died the same way. On the Crothan command ship, Warlord Gruthnak stared at his displays in shock. 3 ships gone just like that. In the span of 5 seconds, he had lost 3 warships. "Return fire," he screamed. "All ships return fire." The Crothan fleet opened up with everything they had. Energy beams and plasma bolts filled the space between the fleets. It was enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The human ships didn't even slow down. Their shields absorbed the hits, flickered slightly, and held. The humans kept coming, kept firing, and more Crothan ships started dying. On board the Indomitable, Admiral Hyunwoo stood on the bridge, his hands clasped behind his back. He watched the battle with calm, experienced eyes. Around him, his crew worked with smooth efficiency. There was no panic, no fear. Just professional soldiers doing their jobs. "Target their engines," Hyunwoo ordered. "I want prisoners for questioning. We need to know if there are more of them nearby." "Yes, sir," Nari replied. Her fingers danced across her console. "Designating targets now. All ships aim for propulsion systems." The human ships adjusted their fire. Instead of killing shots, they started targeting specific parts of the Crothan vessels. Railgun slugs tore through engine sections. Missiles with precision guidance destroyed shield generators. Plasma cannons melted weapon batteries. The Crothans had been pirates for centuries. They had raided thousands of ships. They knew how to fight merchants and weak civilian vessels. But this was different. These humans fought like they had been born for war. Captain Ji-hoon sat on the bridge of the Tenacious, watching his weapons officer work. Yuna was good at her job, very good. She had been firing weapons in combat since she was 18 years old. Now at 35, she could hit a target the size of a person from 100 kilometers away. Direct hit on hostile ship 7, Yuna reported. Their engines are offline. They're dead in space. Good, Ji-hoon said. Next target. Keep them alive if possible. His navigator Taijin looked up from his station. Captain, 2 enemy ships are trying to run. Let them go, Ji-hoon replied. Someone needs to spread the word about what happens when you attack civilians. On the Harmony's light, Captain Thilvex and his crew watched the battle in stunned silence. They had never seen anything like this. The humans moved through the Crothan fleet like predators among prey. Every shot hit. Every movement was precise. There was no hesitation, no mercy, just efficient, deadly violence. What are they? Velnik whispered. Thilvex couldn't answer. He didn't know the battle lasted 11 minutes. When it was over, 8 Crothan ships were nothing but debris. 5 were crippled, their crews either dead or surrendering. 2 had escaped into faster-than-light travel, running for their lives. The human fleet had suffered minor damage to 2 ships. 0 casualties. A new message came through to the Harmony's light. The voice was different this time, softer, more gentle. It was a woman's voice. Velrian vessel, this is Dr. Suman aboard the medical frigate Sanctuary. We're coming to help your wounded. Please prepare to receive medical teams. Thilvex looked at his second officer. Prepare the docking bay. And someone find out everything they can about these humans. 20 minutes later, the human medical ship docked with Harmony's light. When the airlock opened, Thilvex got his first look at a human being. Dr. Suman stepped through wearing a white environmental suit. She was small for her species, maybe 1.5 meters tall. When she removed her helmet, Thilvex felt his body go cold with instinctive fear. Her face was alien in ways he hadn't expected. Her eyes faced forward like a hunter's. Her jaw was strong, built for biting. When she smiled, trying to be friendly, he could see her teeth. They were designed for tearing meat. Everything about her, from the way she moved to the way she looked, screamed one word: predator. Captain Thilvex? She asked. Her voice was kind, but Thilvex couldn't stop staring at those forward-facing eyes. I'm Dr. Suman. My team and I are here to help your wounded. Can you show us where they are? Thilvex forced himself to respond. Yes, of course. This way. As they walked through the ship, more humans came aboard. They moved with a confidence that seemed strange to Thilvex. They weren't arrogant, but they acted like they owned whatever space they were in, like they had never been prey, had never needed to hide or run. The medical bay was full of wounded Velrians. Many had been hurt when the Crothan weapons hit the ship. Suman and her team went to work immediately, and Thilvex watched in amazement. The humans had technology he had never seen. Small machines called nanites that could repair tissue, devices that could heal broken bones in minutes. One human doctor was using something that looked like it was growing replacement organs right there in the medical bay. A young Velrian, a child named Kithal, had been badly hurt. Her arm was shattered, her body cracked in several places. The Velrian doctors had done what they could, but everyone knew she would probably die. Dr. Suman knelt beside the child's bed. Hey there, she said softly. My name is Suman. I'm going to help you feel better, okay? The child looked at her with fear. Are you a monster? The question made several humans pause. Suman was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled, though there was sadness in her eyes. Sometimes, she said honestly, but today I'm your monster, and I'm going to make sure you're okay. She worked on the child for an hour, using technology and skill that seemed like magic to the Velrians. When she was done, Kithal's arm was healed, her body repaired. The child would live. Admiral Hyunwoo boarded the Velrian ship later, along with his security chief, Lieutenant Dongmin. When Thilvex met them in the docking bay, he had to look up. Hyunwoo was tall, over 180 centimeters. His body was thick with muscle. He wore a military uniform that was clean and professional, but Thilvex could see the weapon on his belt. Captain Thilvex, Hyunwoo said, offering his hand in what Thilvex had learned was a human greeting. I'm glad we got here in time. Thilvex carefully touched his hand to the humans. The grip was gentle, but he could feel the strength there. This being could crush him without effort. You saved us, Thilvex said. Thank you. But I must ask, what are you? What kind of species fights like that? Hyunwoo looked at him for a long moment. We're humans. We come from a planet called Earth. And to answer your real question, we fight like that because it's the only way we know how. I don't understand. You will, Hyunwoo said quietly. Come, let's talk. You and your people deserve to know who just saved your lives. Thilvex led Admiral Hyunwoo and his officers to the observation room. Several other Velrian crew members joined them, curious and frightened in equal measure. Dr. Hana, the human xenobiologist, came as well. She carried a portable display device. Before we begin, Hyunwoo said, sitting in a chair that looked too small for his frame, I want you to understand something. We didn't come here to scare you. We came because you needed help. But I think you need to know the truth about us. The truth? Thilvex asked. About where we come from. About what made us this way. Hana activated her display. An image appeared, floating in the air. It showed a blue and green planet, beautiful and peaceful looking from space. This is Earth, she said. Our homeworld. From up here it looks nice, doesn't it? Safe, peaceful. She touched the display and the image changed, showing a massive storm system. This is a hurricane. Winds over 300 kilometers per hour. One of these can destroy entire cities. We get dozens every year. The image changed again. This time it showed a mountain exploding, throwing fire and rock into the sky. Volcanoes. The ground itself tries to kill us. Another change. Earthquakes that can level everything humans build. Another. Floods. Droughts. Temperatures that range from 50 degrees above freezing to 50 degrees below. Thilvex stared at the images. That's impossible. No one could live there. We did, Hyunwoo said quietly. For 3 million years, we lived there. And the weather was the least of our problems. Hana showed new images. Creatures with long teeth and powerful jaws. Pack hunters that worked together. Massive predators that could crush bones with one bite. Small creatures whose poison could kill in minutes. Tiny organisms invisible to the eye that caused diseases. Everything on our planet wanted to eat us, poison us, or kill us, Hana explained. We weren't the biggest. We weren't the strongest. We weren't the fastest. But we survived because we were smarter, and meaner, and more stubborn than anything that tried to kill us. What classification is your world? Velnik asked. In galactic terms? Hana looked at Hyunwoo. The Admiral nodded. Class 12, Hana said. The Velrians gasped. One of them made a sound that humans would recognize as laughter from shock. That's impossible, Thilvex said. Class 12 worlds are theoretical. Nothing can evolve intelligence in those conditions. The galaxy uses Class 4 worlds as the standard. Class 8 worlds are considered uninhabitable. We didn't know that, Hyunwoo said. We just lived. We adapted. We evolved. We built civilizations in places that would kill most species in hours. We turned our planet's dangers into tools. We learned to use fire. We tamed animals that were trying to eat us. We built cities in places hit by earthquakes and storms, and when they fell down, we built them again. Hana showed more images. Humans fighting each other with primitive weapons, then with more advanced weapons, then with machines of war that made the Velrians sick to look at. We also fought each other, she said softly. For most of our history, we were our own worst enemy. We had wars that killed millions. We invented weapons that could destroy our entire planet. We came very close to making ourselves extinct several times. Why? Thilvex asked. Why would you do that? Because we're still learning, Hyunwoo answered. We're still figuring out how to be civilized. Earth made us survivors, fighters, warriors. It took us a long time to learn that we didn't have to fight everything and everyone, that we could use our strength to protect instead of destroy. Dongmin, the security chief, spoke for the first time. The captain asked us what kind of world creates beings like us. The answer is, a world that tried to kill us every single day. A world where being weak meant dying. A world where hesitation meant extinction. Thilvex looked at each human in the room. They all had the same basic features, forward-facing eyes, strong jaws. bodies built for endurance and strength. They were all predators, every single one of them. You terrify us, Thilvex said honestly. When I look at you, every instinct I have tells me to run. You look like you're going to hunt us. I know, Hyunwoo said, and I'm sorry for that. But here's what I want you to understand. Yes, we're predators. Yes, we evolved to hunt and fight and survive in hell. But we chose to come help you. We didn't have to. We could have ignored your message. We could have let the Krothans take you. But we didn't. Why? Velnik asked. What do you gain from helping us? Hyunwoo leaned forward. Because on Earth, we learned something important. The strong should protect the weak. Not because it benefits us. Not because we want something in return. But because it's the right thing to do. We had to learn that lesson the hard way, through centuries of war and pain. But we learned it. Hana showed one final image. It was Earth again, but this time showing the lights of human cities at night. Billions of points of light, covering the planet's surface. We survived, she said. Against everything our world threw at us, we survived. We built a civilization. We reached the stars. And now we're out here, and we have a choice. We can use our strength to take what we want, like the Krothans do. Or we can use it to protect those who need protection. You chose to protect, Thilvex said. We did, Hyunwoo confirmed. But I won't lie to you, we're dangerous, very dangerous. When we fight to win. We don't hold back. We don't show mercy to those who threaten innocence. You saw what we did to the Krothans. That's what we're capable of. A Velrian medical officer named Pelvin spoke up. Your Dr. Suman saved our children. She healed wounds we thought were fatal. She was gentle and kind. But she's also a warrior, isn't she? We all are, Suman said from the doorway. No one had heard her enter. Even doctors, even scientists. Earth made us all warriors. But being a warrior doesn't mean we have to be cruel. It just means we know how to fight when we need to. Young Kithal, the child Suman had healed, was with her. The little Velrian held Suman's hand, no longer afraid. She saved me, Kithal said to Thilvex. She's nice. The simple statement from the child made several of the adults pause. Hyunwoo smiled slightly. Children are often wiser than adults, he said. They judge people by actions, not appearances. Thilvex was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood and performed a deep bow, the greatest sign of respect in Velrian culture. You saved my people. You saved our children. You risked your lives for strangers. Whatever you are, whatever your world made you. Today you were heroes. Today, Hyunwoo said, standing and returning the bow in his own way, we were just doing our job. Later, after the humans had left to return to their ships, Thilvex stood in the observation room with Velnik. They watched, the human fleet maintaining formation around the Harmony's light, protecting them. What do we tell people? Velnik asked. When we reach our new home, when they ask who saved us? We tell them the truth, Thilvex said. We tell them that the galaxy has new players, beings from a death world, predators who chose to become protectors, warriors who fight not to conquer but to defend. Do you think others will believe us? Thilvex thought of the Krothan ships that had escaped. They would spread the word. They would tell everyone what had happened here. They'll believe us, he said, because the galaxy is about to change. The humans are here now, and nothing will ever be the same. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Hyunwoo stood looking out at the stars. Nari joined him, holding 2 cups of coffee. Do you think we scared them too much? She asked, handing him a cup. Probably, Hyunwoo admitted. But better they know what we are now. Better they understand what we're capable of. Secrets and lies don't build trust. The galaxy won't know what to do with us. No, Hyunwoo agreed. They won't. We're something new. Something they've never encountered. Intelligent predators from a world that shouldn't be able to support life. We're going to shake up everything they think they know. Are you worried? Hyunwoo sipped his coffee. Every day. We're at a crossroads. We can become the galaxy's protectors or we can become its conquerors. The difference is just a choice, and we have to keep making the right choice over and over. You think we will? I hope so, Hyunwoo said. Because if we don't, if we let Earth's violence become all we are, then we'll be worse than the Krothans. We'll be monsters with nuclear weapons. Below them, the Velrian colony ship continued its journey, now safely escorted by human warships. And across the galaxy, 2 Krothan ships carried news that would spread like wildfire. The Deathworlders had arrived. The news spread faster than anyone expected. Within 3 days, every major civilization in the galaxy had heard the story. A new species called humans, predators from a Class 12 world, warriors who destroyed a Krothan fleet in 11 minutes. Warlord Gruthnok sat in a pirate bar on the edge of civilized space, drinking heavily and telling his story to anyone who would listen. They came out of nowhere, he said, his voice still carrying the edge of fear. No warnings, no negotiations, just death. Their weapons went through our shields like they weren't there. Solid metal slugs moving faster than missiles. I've fought in 100 battles. I've never seen anything like it. You ran from one battle, another pirate said, laughing. You're getting weak, old warlord. Gruthnok grabbed the younger pirate by the throat. You didn't see them. You didn't watch 3 of your ships explode in 5 seconds. Those humans aren't normal warriors. They're not like us. They don't fight for honor or glory. They fight to kill. Fast, efficient, without mercy. He let the pirate go and took another drink. Mark my words. Those Deathworlders are going to change everything. On the Citadel, the massive space station that served as the Galactic Council's headquarters, an emergency session was called. Representatives from 40 species gathered in the Great Chamber. The mood was tense. Ambassador Jisoo represented humanity. He was older than the admirals in the fleet, in his 60s, with gray hair and calm eyes. He wore simple diplomatic robes, not a uniform. But everyone in the chamber could see the way he carried himself. This was a man who had seen war. The council speaker, a tall being from the Nexian species, called the session to order. We are here to discuss the recent incident in the Kepler expanse. A new species calling themselves humans engaged in combat with Krothan forces. The results were significant. That was an understatement. The recordings from the Harmony's light had been shared with the council. Everyone had seen what the humans could do. A representative from the Targothian Empire stood. The Targothians were the galaxy's main military power, proud warriors with a long history of conquest. These humans are dangerous, the Targothian said. They fight without honor. They use weapons that violate the principles of civilized warfare. They must be controlled. Controlled? Jisoo asked calmly. My people responded to a distress call. We save civilian lives. What part of that needs to be controlled? The way you fight, the Targothian replied. You don't follow the protocols. You don't give warnings. You just kill. Because that's what saved those civilians, Jisoo said. If we had followed your protocols, had your polite conversations and ceremonial challenges, 50,000 people would be dead or enslaved right now. We did what needed to be done. A Velrian representative stood. She was Thilvex's sister, sent specifically to speak at this council. The humans saved us, she said firmly. While the rest of the galaxy followed protocols, while everyone debated and discussed, my people were dying. The humans came. They fought, they won. And then they showed us kindness. Their doctors healed our wounded. Their officers were respectful. They asked for nothing in return. That doesn't change what they are, a merchant representative said. We've reviewed their history. They're a violent species. They fought wars that killed hundreds of millions of their own kind. They invented weapons that could destroy their entire planet. And now they're in space with all that violence and those weapons. Jisoo nodded slowly. Everything you said is true. We are violent. We did fight terrible wars. We did create weapons that could end all life on our world. But here's what you're missing. We learned from those mistakes. We grew, we changed. We decided to be better than our worst impulses. He activated a display showing images of Earth. Our world tried to kill us for millions of years. We survived by being tough, smart, and yes, violent. But we also survived by learning to work together. By protecting the weak. By building civilizations in the face of impossible odds. A small, timid representative from the Frillian species spoke up. What do you want from the galaxy? Nothing, Jisoo said simply. We don't want territory. We don't want tribute. We don't want to rule anyone. We just want to be left alone to do our thing. And if people need help like the Velrians did, we'll help them. Why? The Targothian demanded. Why would you risk your lives for strangers? Jisoo smiled slightly. Because that's what good people do. We're not perfect. We're still learning. But we're trying to be the kind of species that makes the galaxy better, not worse. Scholar Sungho, a human historian who had been invited to speak, stood next. He was younger than Jisoo, in his 40s, with glasses and a professor's bearing. I've studied your histories, he said to the council. All of you evolved on gentle worlds. Class 2, Class 3, maybe Class 4, your planets nurtured you. Your greatest challenges were learning to cooperate, to build societies, to reach the stars. He pulled up comparative data. Earth is different. Gravity twice what most of you experience. Extreme weather. Dangerous predators. Deadly diseases. We didn't just learn to cooperate. We learned to survive. Every day. Every moment. For millions of years. The images showed Earth's history. Humans fighting animals. Fighting each other. Fighting nature itself. You ask why we're violent? Look at what made us. You ask why we're so good at war? We've been at war with our own planet since before we could speak. You wonder why we don't follow your warfare protocols. Because on Earth, following rules got you killed. So you admit you're dangerous, the Targothian said. Yes, Seungho replied. We're very dangerous. But dangerous isn't the same as evil. A knife is dangerous. But you can use it to cut food or to commit murder. The tool isn't good or evil. The person using it makes that choice. And what choice will humanity make? The council speaker asked. Jisoo stood again. We've already made it. We're choosing to protect. We're choosing to help. We're choosing to use our strength for good. But make no mistake, if someone threatens innocent lives, we will respond, quickly, decisively, without hesitation. That sounds like a threat, the Targothian said. It's a promise, Jisoo corrected. The Crothans attacked civilians. We stopped them. If it happens again, we'll stop them again. If other pirates or raiders think they can prey on the weak, we'll teach them otherwise. We're not asking permission. We're informing you of our intentions. The chamber erupted in debate. Some species supported humanity. Others feared them. The Merchant Consortium saw opportunities for trade and profit. The Peace Collective worried about an arms race. The Crothan representative, who had been silent until now, finally stood. The Crothan hegemony demands reparations. The humans destroyed our ships without provocation. They violated galactic law. They must be held accountable. Jisoo turned to face the Crothan directly. You attacked a civilian vessel carrying children. You were preparing to enslave or kill 50,000 innocent beings. And you want reparations? We were engaged in lawful seizure of assets. You were committing crimes against sentient life, Jisoo interrupted, his voice cold. By human law, what you did warrants the harshest punishment. We could have destroyed your entire fleet. We showed mercy by letting 2 ships escape. Don't mistake that mercy for weakness. Is that a threat? The Crothan demanded. It's advice, Jisoo said. Free advice. Stay away from civilian ships. Stay away from the weak and helpless. Because if we catch you preying on innocents again, we won't let you run next time. The Crothan sat down, fuming but silent. The council speaker called for order. This discussion will continue. But I think everyone here understands the situation now. Humanity is in the galaxy. They're powerful. They're dangerous. And they've chosen to be protectors. The question, the speaker continued, is how the rest of us respond to that. After the session, in a private meeting room, several species gathered. These were the ones who had suffered under piracy and aggression for years. The Velrians, the Frillians, the Pelthians. Small species, weak species, prey species. A Frillian representative spoke quietly. Do you think they mean it? The humans? Do you think they'll really protect us? The Velrian representative, Thilvex's sister, nodded. They saved us when no one else would. They risked their lives for strangers. Yes, I think they mean it. Then maybe, a Pelthian said softly, maybe we don't have to be afraid anymore. Back on the Indomitable, Hyunwoo received a report from Jisoo about the council meeting. It went about as expected, Jisoo wrote. Half the galaxy fears us. A quarter wants to exploit us. The rest are cautiously hopeful. But the message is clear. We're not going away. And people are going to have to deal with that. Hyunwoo showed the message to Nari. So it begins, she said. So it begins, Hyunwoo agreed. The galaxy is watching now. Everything we do matters. Every choice. Every action. We have to be better than they fear we are. Can we do that? We have to, Yunwu said. Because if we fail, if we become the monsters they're afraid of, then Earth's violence will spread through the galaxy like a disease. And that can't happen. Far away, in the dark spaces between stars, other groups watched and listened. Criminal organizations. Pirate fleets. Warlords who had preyed on the weak for centuries, and they all came to the same conclusion. The rules had changed. The prey had found protectors. 6 months had passed since the Velrian rescue. The Kepler Expanse, once a dangerous region full of pirates and raiders, had become one of the safest areas in known space. The reason was simple. The human fleet was there. The Indomitable now led a coalition of ships. Humans, Velrians, Frillians, Peltians, and a dozen other species patrolled together. They protected trade routes, responded to distress calls, and hunted down pirate nests. The results spoke for themselves. Piracy had dropped 94%. Trade had increased beyond anyone's expectations. Lives were being saved every day. Admiral Hyunwoo stood in his ready room looking at reports on his desk. Commander Nari, who had been promoted after the Velrian incident, stood beside him. His executive officer, Captain Minji, reviewed tactical data on a screen. 3 more engagements this month, Minji reported. All ended with enemy surrender before shots were fired. The reputation is working. Working too well, Nari said quietly. Hyunwoo looked at her. Explain. Sir, the pirates surrender because they're terrified. The weak species flock to us because they're desperate. Even the merchant ships request human escorts specifically. We're not just protecting people anymore. We're becoming what they define the galaxy by. Is that a bad thing? Minji asked. I don't know, Nari admitted. But it's a lot of responsibility. Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment. Then he turned to face them both. I won't lie. I don't like being feared. On Earth we have a saying, walk softly and carry a big stick. We tried walking softly for decades when we first reached the stars. The galaxy ignored us, dismissed us. Now they listen. They listen because they're afraid. And you're okay with that? Nari asked. No, Hyunwoo said honestly. But I'm okay with children like Kithal being alive. I'm okay with families like the Velrians reaching their new homes safely. If being feared is the price for that, I'll pay it. Even if it makes us the monsters? Minji asked. We're only monsters to those who prey on the innocent, Hyunwoo replied. To everyone else, we're just people doing a job. On Earth, in the United Earth Senate chamber, a fierce debate was taking place. Senator Yoonji stood at the podium, her voice carrying across the hall. We're becoming what we always feared, an empire. A military power that enforces its will through strength. This isn't what we wanted when we reached the stars. What's the alternative? Senator Tajin called out from his seat. He was older, a retired admiral who had fought in the Martian Rebellion 30 years ago. Let innocent people die? Ignore distress calls? Pretend we can't help when we clearly can? There's a difference between helping and occupying, Yoonji argued. We have fleets patrolling regions that aren't even near Earth. We're making decisions about galactic security. Who gave us that right? The people who needed saving gave us that right, Taejin replied. He stood and walked to the floor. Every distress call we answer. Every civilian ship we protect. Every pirate base we destroy. Those are votes. Those are people saying, yes, please help us. But for how long? Yoonji asked. How long before we start deciding what's best for other species? How long before we stop protecting and start controlling? The debate raged for hours. Finally, a vote was called. The motion was simple. Should humanity continue its military presence in the outer regions? The vote was close. Very close. But in the end, it passed. Humanity would remain, not as conquerors, not as overlords, but as guardians. The Senate made it clear, any military action had to be defensive or in response to direct requests for help. No territorial claims, no forced alliances, no empire building. Back in the Kepler Expanse, Captain Ji-hoon of the Tenacious was dealing with a more immediate problem. His ship had intercepted a distress call from a mining colony. Raiders were attacking, trying to steal valuable minerals. How many raiders? Ji-hoon asked his tactical officer Yuna. 12 ships, small craft but armed. They're targeting the colony's landing pads. Time to intercept? 20 minutes, Taejin, the navigator, replied. Too long, Ji-hoon said. People could die in 20 minutes. Yuna, can you get a firing solution from here? Yuna's fingers flew across her console. Yes, sir. Extreme range, but the railguns can make it. I'll need perfect calculations. You've never missed yet, Ji-hoon said. Take the shot. The Tenacious fired a single railgun slug from over 100,000 kilometers away. It crossed the distance in seconds and struck the lead raider ship, disabling it completely. The other raiders scattered immediately, recognizing the signature of human weapons. Send them a message, Ji-hoon ordered. Tell them if they don't leave immediately, the next shot won't be a warning. The raiders fled. The colony was saved. No lives lost. Another successful mission. But later, in his quarters, Ji-hoon felt troubled. His security chief, Ensign Heejin, noticed. Something wrong, Captain? I keep thinking about what Nari said last month at the officers' meeting. About how we're changing the galaxy just by being here. Those raiders ran because they're terrified of us. Not because they suddenly became good people. Just because they're scared. Isn't that the point? Heejin asked. Is it? Ji-hoon wondered. Are we teaching the galaxy to be better? Or are we just teaching them to be afraid? Captain Thilvex visited the Indomitable one final time, before his colony ship reached its destination. He found Admiral Hyunwoo on the observation deck looking out at the stars. Admiral, Thilvex said, performing his people's bow of respect. Captain, Hyunwoo replied, returning it. Your new home is close now. 2 days' journey, Thilvex confirmed. We'll finally be safe. Because of you. Because your people were strong enough to survive, Hyunwoo corrected. We just bought you time. Thilvex moved to stand beside the human looking out at the same stars. I've been thinking a lot these past months. About what you told us. About Earth, about what made you this way. And I think I understand now. You didn't just survive your world. You conquered it. Every challenge it threw at you, you overcame. And now you're out here still conquering challenges, but differently. What do you mean? You're conquering fear, Thilvex said. For 6 months, my people have traveled with your fleet. We're still afraid of you sometimes. You're still predators to us. But we've also seen you be gentle. Seen you be kind. Seen you choose mercy when you could choose violence. You're teaching us that strength doesn't have to mean cruelty. Hyunwoo was quiet for a long moment. That means more than you know. Sometimes I worry that we're just spreading Earth's violence through the galaxy. That we're making things worse, not better. You're not, Thilvex said firmly. Before you came, species like mine had no protection. We were prey. Now we have hope. That's not nothing. But hope built on fear? Hyunwoo asked. Hope built on strength, Thilvex corrected. There's a difference. The strong who choose to protect the weak give hope. The strong who prey on the weak create fear. You're the first kind. Please don't forget that. Later that night, after Thilvex had returned to his ship, Hyunwoo called a meeting with his senior officers. Nari, Minji, Ji-hoon via video link, and several others gathered in the conference room. I've been thinking about our mission, Hyunwoo began. About why we're out here. About what we're becoming. Sir? Nari asked. We're at a crossroads, Hyunwoo continued. We can keep doing what we're doing, being the galaxy's police force. Or we can train others to defend themselves. Teach them what we know. Help them become strong enough to protect themselves. That could take decades, Minji pointed out. Yes, Hyunwoo agreed, but it's the right thing to do. We shouldn't be the only ones who can fight. We should be teaching others how to stand up to bullies. How to defend themselves. How to be strong without being cruel. You want to start a training program? Ji-hoon asked from his screen. More than that, Hyunwoo said. I want to start an academy. Invite species from across the galaxy. Teach them tactics, strategy, self-defense. Not to make them like us, but to give them the tools they need to protect themselves. The Senate would have to approve that, Nari said. I know. I'm going to propose it. But I wanted to know what you all think first. The officers looked at each other. Then one by one they nodded. It's a good idea, Nari said. Better than just being the scary humans who show up and kill bad guys. We'd still do that, Hyunwoo clarified. But we'd also be building something. Creating a future where we're not needed as much. Where the weak can defend themselves. That's a future worth fighting for, Ji-hoon agreed. 3 weeks later, the United Earth Senate approved Admiral Hyunwoo's proposal. The Galactic Defense Academy would be built on a neutral space station. It would be open to any species that wanted to learn. Humans would teach, but so would other species. Everyone would contribute what they knew. The news spread across the galaxy quickly. Reactions were mixed. Some praised it, some feared it was just another way for humans to spread their influence. But slowly applications started coming in. Young beings from dozens of species wanted to learn, wanted to be stronger, wanted to protect their people. On the Harmony's light, which had finally reached its new home, the Velrians held a ceremony. They unveiled a monument to honor those who had saved them. At the center was a statue of a human in armor, standing protectively over smaller figures representing the Velrians. The inscription read, "On the darkest day, when death seemed certain, the Deathworlders came. They asked for nothing.